Hello, hello! Pete's Packs here, and we're back with kind of a throwback. These are the Commander 2019 decks, I believe. Pretty sure. Yeah. mtg Commander 2019. That's exactly what this is. So this is Black-Red Merciless Rage with the face commander of Ani or Anjay Falconwrath. I do have the full set of 4. Got the rest in the box. We'll be doing those over the next few days. Since we're in a bit of a lull for Magic, and I'm probably not doing the Modern Horizons 3 stuff. Just the prices on them are a little nutso at the moment. So, probably going to skip them for the time being, kind of like with the Commander Masters stuff last year. Alright, so let's get into this. How exactly do I open this? Well, it's already torn on the sides, so we might as well just do this. This looks like it has some fun stuff in it. Like Kirik, son of Yawgmoth. Based off the back. But we do have the oversized face card. I don't know about most people. I like these things. It reminds me of... Sorry for all that background noise. Reminds me of the Vanguard cards. Which I was a huge fan of Vanguard when it was in Standard. Or not in Standard. When it was in print. But, let's see. This is Merciless Rage. Get a nice double-sized deck box to go with our double-sized face commander. We have an insert and the deck itself. Let's see, I believe this covers alternate commanders. So we've got Ani Falconwrath, or Anji Falconwrath, Chainer, Nightmare Adept, Grieven, Predator Captain, Kirik, son of Yawgmoth. Although I'm not sure how Kirik could be an alternate commander, since this appears to be a red blacklist. We have a little blurb about Merciless Rage, which is this deck. Quick overview of the commander rules, and a couple of ads. Keep in mind this deck is 5 years old, so a lot of stuff has come out since this was in production. So we got a little insert, plastic insert, and our paper deck box. It doesn't look like it's held up super well to gravity, even though it has been sealed this whole time. You can see how it's just kind of crushed down over time. So if you keep sealed product long enough, it's something to be aware of. That does happen. I've run into that with a number of things that I've held on to over the years. Alright, so let's see what's actually in here. Alright, there's a quick pull. Where is it? So we'll just pop an edge and go from there. Alright, so starting things off, we have Anji Falconwrath. 1 black red for a 1/3 legendary vampire with haste. Tap, discard a card, draw a card. Whenever you discard a card, if it has madness, untap Anji Falconwrath. Chainer, Nightmare Adept. Good old Chainer from... I think he made his first appearance in Torment? 2 black-red for 3/2 legendary human minion. Discard a card. You may cast a creature card from your graveyard this turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until your next turn. Very nice. Grieven, Predator Captain. 3 black-red for a 5/5 legendary human warrior with Menace. It gets +X/+O, where X is the amount of life you've lost this turn. Whenever Grieven attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, you draw cards equal to that creature's power, and you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. So it definitely wants the ones with the big front end. Grievin, of course, being from, I believe, Tempest? Definitely the Wrath cycle, is one of the minions of Vulcan Wrath, correctly. We have some zombie tokens that are also zombie tokens. Oh, these are both zombie tokens and zombie tokens. And then there's an Obnixilis reignited emblem. It's a little strange that they're 2/2 zombies and 2/2 zombies. All right. Let's get into the cards themselves. Mire and Misery, 1 and a black, sorcery. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or an enchantment. Hate Mirage, 3 and red, sorcery. Choose up to 2 target creatures you don't control. For each of those creatures, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Those tokens gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. Bloodthirsty Blade. 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and is goaded. For a single mana, attach Bloodthirsty Blade to target creature an opponent controls. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. So that means during your turn, during a main phase, when the stack is empty. Scare Tiller. 4 mana, 1/4 artifact creature Scarecrow. Whenever it becomes tapped, choose one. You may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, or return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. This is really useful with the new Capenna lands, and also with a few other things that let you untap when a creature comes into play. Also, let's start that background music. Next we have Big Game Hunter, originally printed in Time Spiral. 1 black for a 1/1 human rebel assassin. Whenever it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. It can't be regenerated. Madness for a single black. Very nice. Call to the Netherworld. Okay, let's pull in a little bit. Yay. Call to the Netherworld. For a single black, you get a sorcery. Return target black creature from your graveyard to your hand. Madness is 0. Dark Withering. 4 black. Instant. Destroy target non-black creature. Madness for black. And I believe this downshifted it to common, which is pretty nice. Faith of the Devoted. 2 and a black. Enchantment. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Very nice. So keep in mind the damage does scale for multiplayer, the life gain does not. Gorgon Recluse. 3 black for a 2/4 Gorgon. Whenever it blocks or becomes blocked by a non-black creature, destroy that creature at the end of combat. Madness, red. Or, red. Jeez. Madness, black. Oh, my brain is toast today. Grave Shambler, 3 and a black for a 2/2 zombie with Madness, 1 and a black. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if its Madness cost was paid, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to its owner's hand. So really nice if you have 2 of them, although not really an option in Commander. Murderous Compulsion. 1 and a black sorcery. Destroy target tapped creature. Madness, 1 and a black. Nightshade Assassin. 2 black for a 1/2 human assassin with first strike. When it enters the battlefield, you may reveal X black cards in your hand. If you do, target creature gets -X until end of turn. Madness, 1 and a black. It's funny, these cards are 5 years old. I can't say how much easier these are to read than current Magic cards that are coming out for Commander. Good old Plague Crafter, 2 and a black, 3 for a 3/2 human shaman. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. Sanitarium Skeleton. 1 and a black for a 1/2 skeleton. 2 and a black. Return it from your graveyard to your hand. The Eldest Reborn. This was a very fun one when it was first printed. 4 and a black for a 3-chapter saga. Chapter 1, each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. 2, each opponent discards a card. And then 3, put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Zombie Infestation. This was a good one. 1 and a black, enchantment. Discard 2 cards, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. This was especially popular in treasure hunt decks. Definitely a fun card. Alchemist's Greeting. 4 and a red, sorcery. Deals 4 damage to target creature. Madness. 1 and a red. See, just so much easier to read these cards. Fiery Temper. 1 red, instant. Deal 3 damage to any target. Madness for a red. See? So simple. Doesn't have to be a wall of text. Malevolent Whispers. 3 and a red, sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. Madness. 3 and a red. Violent Eruption. 1 red, instant. Deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. Madness. 1 red. Armillary Sphere. 2 mana artifact. 2, tap, sacrifice it, search the library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Ah, hell. Mana search things that are how Tudor rocks have changed. Hedron Archive. 4 mana artifact. Taps for 2 colorless. 2, tap and sacrifice it, draw 2 cards. Meteor Golem. 7 mana 3/3 artifact creature golem. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Rakdos Locket. 3 mana artifact, taps for black or green, and then hybrid black or red, and then hybrid black red, tap, sacrifice, Rakdos Locket, draw 2 cards. Soul Ring. We all know what it does by now, but 1 mana artifact, taps for 2. We have some lands. We have 2 swamps. Okay. Archfiend of Spite. 5 black for 6/6 demon with flying. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to Archfiend of Spite, that source's controller loses that much life unless they sacrifice that many permanents. Madness. 3 black. That is fun. Bone Miser. 4 and a black for 4/4 zombie wizard. Whenever you discard a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Discard a land card, add black. Whenever you discard a non-land card, draw a card. This is basically Want Not for you on a creature. Curse of Fool's Wisdom. 4 black, enchantment, Aura Curse. Enchant player. Whenever enchanted player draws a card, they lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. Madness. 3 and a black. Kirk, Son of Yawgmoth. This was something. I forget what this was for. I know this is one of the most common mono black commanders that have ever been printed. But 4 and then 3 Phyrexian black for a 2/2 legendary horror minion with lifelink. For each black and it's in a cost, you may pay 2 life rather than pay that mana. So all black symbols become Phyrexian mana, or Phyrexian black. Whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Kirk, Son of Yawgmoth. Nightmare Unmaking. 3 black, sorcery. Choose 1. Exile each creature with power greater than the number of cards in your hand, or exile each creature with power less than the number of cards in your hand. Alright. Anji's Ravager. 2 and a red. Man, brain just not working today. For a 3/3 Vampire Berserker, it attacks each combat of Fable. Whenever it attacks, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. Madness. 1 and a red. Skyfire Phoenix. 2 red for a 3/3 Phoenix with flying and haste. Whenever you cast your commander, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wildfire Devils. 3 and a red for 4/2 Devil. Whenever it enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep, choose a player at random. That player exiles an instant or sorcery card from their graveyard. Copy that card. You may cast that copy without paying its mana cost. Aeon Engine. 5 mana artifact, enters the battlefield tapped, tap, exile it, reverse the game's turn order. Ooh, it's the Uno reverse card. Sanctum of Eternity. Land, tap for colorless. 2, tap, return target commander you own from the battlefield to your hand. Activate only during your turn. Huh. Boneyard Parlay. 5 black sorcery. Exile up to 5 target creature cards from your from graveyards. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put all cards from the pile of your choice onto the battlefield under your control, and the rest into their owner's graveyard. So generally you're going to pick the bigger pile if you're picking the right creatures, but it's always good to give your opponents a devil's bargain. Champion of Stray Souls. 4 black for 4/4 skeleton warrior. For 3 black, tap, sacrifice X other creatures, return X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. I forgot how good that was. 5 black, put Champion of Stray Souls on top of your library from your graveyard. Geth, Lord of the Vault. 4 black for a 5/5 legendary zombie with Intimidate. And then X and a black, put target artifact or creature card with converted mana cost X from a opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control tapped. Then that player puts the top X cards of their library into their graveyard. So, funny thing about this, if your opponent has a Lion's Eye Diamond, you can just make infinite mana. And then animate another creature. Just something to note. Also, a Lotus Petal does some silly things with this too. Obnixilis Reignited. 3 black for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Nixilis. Interesting that it's just Nixilis instead of Obnixilis. +1, you draw a card and lose a life. -3, destroy target creature. -8, target opponent gets an emblem with whenever a player draws a card, you lose 2 life. Soul of Innistrad. 4 black for a 6/6 avatar with Death Touch. 3 black, return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. 3 black, exile Soul of Innistrad from your graveyard, return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Grimoire of Death. 4 mana legendary artifact. 1 tap, discard a card, put a study counter on it. Tap, remove 3 study counters from Grimoire of the Dead and sacrifice it. Put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. They're black zombies in addition to their other colors and types. Sweet. Asylum Visitor. This was a fun one. 1 and a black for a 3/1 Vampire Wizard. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, you draw a card and lose a life. Madness, 1 and a black. Beacon of Unrest. 3 black sorcery. Put target artifact or creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Shuffle Beacon of Unrest into its owner's library. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. This used to be a black staple. I don't know if this has seen play in the last 2 or 3 years. Doomed Necromancer. This was so much fun in Standard. 2 and a black for a 2/2 Human Cleric Mercenary. 1 and a black, or for a black, tap and sacrifice Doomed Necromancer. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. From Under the Floorboards. 3 black, sorcery, Madness, X black. Create 3 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens and you gain 3 life. If this spell's madness cost was paid, instead create X of those tokens and you gain X life. That was very good back in original Innistrad. I believe it was original Innistrad, might have been Dark Ascension. Hedonist Archive. 5 black enchantment whenever it enters, or Hedonist Trove, not Archive. Whenever Hedonist Trove enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target opponent's graveyard. You may play land cards exiled with Hedonist Trove. You may cast non-land cards exiled with it, or you can't cast more than 1 spell this way each turn. Brain Mush. In Garrick's Wake, 7 black sorcery. Destroy all creatures you don't control and all planeswalkers you don't control. Super Wrath and black. Overseer of the Damned, 5 black for a 5/5 flying demon. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target creature. When a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. Avacyn's Judgment. 1 in a red, sorcery, madness, X in a red. Deals 2 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. If the spell's madness cost was paid, it deals X damage divided as you choose among those permanents and or players instead. Chaos Warp. This one has seen quite a few reprints, but yeah, it is what it is. 2 in a red instant. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield. Player of the Hatebound. 5 in a red for a 4/2 devil with Undying. Whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield from your graveyard, that creature deals damage equal to its power to any target. Very nice. Magus of the Wheel, 2 in a red for a 3/3 human wizard. 1 in a red, tap, sacrifice Magus of the Wheel. Each player discards their hand, then draw 7 cards. Squee, Goblin Nabob. This is a very good card for Vintage. That's about it. And if only Survival of the Fittest was not banned in Legacy. 2 in a red for a 1/1 legendary creature Goblin. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return Squee, Goblin Nabob from your graveyard to your hand. Stromkirk Occultist. 2 in a red for a 3/2 Vampire Horror. Trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. Until in turn, you may play that card. Madness, 1 in a red. Warstorm Surge. 5 in a red, enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Bloodhall Priest. 2 black red for a 4/4 Vampire Cleric. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, if you have no cards in hand, it deals 2 damage to any target. Madness, 1 black red. Key to the City. Big fan of this card. It was a lot of fun when it was in Standard. 2 mana artifact. Tap, discard a card. Up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. Whenever Key to the City becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Solemn Simulacrum. 4 mana 2/2 artifact creature Golem. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. When it dies, you may draw a card. Drownyard Temple. It's a land that taps for colorless, and for 3, you can return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Exotic Orchard. Land that taps for 1 color or 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Legendary land, taps for colorless. 2, tap, each player draws a card, then discards a card. This card is really fun with Narset. Just saying. We have some more swamps. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 swamps. So 10 swamps in total because there were 2 earlier in the deck. We have some mountains. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mountains. Nice. Then we have a Akoum Refuge. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters, you gain 1 life. Tap for black or red. Ash Barrens. Hey, this was back when Ash Barrens was a giant pain to get a hold of. Taps for colorless, and then basic land cycling for 1. Pauper All-Star right there. Baron Moore. Enters the battlefield tapped. Taps for black, cycles for black. Also really good in Pauper. It was originally printed in Onslaught as a common. Then Bloodfell Caves. Enters tapped. When it enters, you gain a life, and taps for black or red. Cinder Barrens. Enters tapped. Taps for black or red. Command Tower. Taps for your commander's color identity. Evolving Wilds. Tap and sacrifice over a basic land. Put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Forgotten Caves. Does the same thing as Barren Moor, just for red. Enters tap, taps for red, and then cycles for a red. Memorial to Folly. Enters the battlefield tap, taps for a black, and then 2 and a black, tap to sacrifice it. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Mortuary Mire. Enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Tap, add a black. Myriad Landscape. Enters tap, taps for colorless. 2, tap and sacrifice it. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Keep in mind, wastes do not have a land type, so you cannot get waste with Myriad Landscape. Rakdos Carnarium. It is the black-red Karu. Enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, return a land you control to your hand. Taps for a black and a red. Excuse me. Rakdos Guildgate. Land Gate. Enters the battlefield tapped. Taps for a black or a red. Rix Madai. Dungeon Palace. Land. Taps for a colorless. And then 1 black-red. Tap. Each player discards a card. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. This was a fun one back in Dissension. Good way to empty out your opponent's hand and get yourself hellbent. Terramorphic Expanse, and taps for or tap and sacrifice it. Search the library for basic, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Temple of the False Gods. Taps for 2 colorless, but you can only activate it if you control 5 or more lands. Then we have an ad. Discover Magic popular formats. Hey, look at that. Standard, Booster Draft, and Commander. Discover more Magic. Back with M20. This was pre-pandemic, if I remember correctly. So, good times. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure. This has been Merciless Rage from Commander 2019. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. It helps me bring you more videos like this, and, you know, helps keep me going. So yeah. Until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.